I got a good amount of gas. Guess where gas comes from? My smelly little ass. I know my heart is true, and so is my cock. Guess what you heard? It's smooth body. Smooth body. Are you Steph Curry? Because we finally don't have the same amount of finals MVPs. It's your boy, LLSmoothBody, and I'm talking finals, and most importantly, I'm talking my boy Curry. But to make this point about Curry, I got to tell you guys about a little film I watched this past week for the second time. Top Gun Maverick. If you haven't seen it, absolutely excellent. Super highly recommended. Now, one of the most poignant scenes in the film was when our boy Mav was talking to Iceman. Now, Iceman, just as Val Kilmer, has a condition, so he can't really talk, so he's only typing. And they're talking about Rooster, Goose's son, a bunch of emotional stuff, and how Maverick kind of can't let go of him being the pilot in the box. And my boy Kilmer, on the thing, writes, "You have to let go." Now, let me tell you, from the year 2015 to about 11:30 last night, I have hated Steph Curry. It wasn't a hatred I fully acknowledged. You know, it's kind of like your stepdad. You can't really say it, but it's there. You hate him. He came in, had the best team in the league, and here come the LeBron comparisons. And I had heard him before, 2014, Kevin Durant, OKC, scoring leader. My brother walks in. Hey, KD's Thunder won. It was a regular season game. They look at him and go, LeBron had more points, more rebounds, more assists. Yeah, but KD's Thunder won. So I was, off the bat, overly protective. Now this hot shot who chews on his fucking mouth guard comes into the league, fucking blows it up. They win a championship his first year. LeBron's with a bunch of guys from the Y. They lose. The next year, 2016, Curry comes in with his boys, 73-9. 73-9. Max Kellerman goes on First Take and says Steph Curry has already had a better career than LeBron James. Everything inside of me wanted to throw up. Then we get to the finals. LeBron eats his lunch money, down 3-1. Him and Kyrie come back and they get the dub. I am elated. But that hatred after two finals is there. Then they get Kevin Durant. And everyone hates KD because of this, but I've been hating Steph for longer, so that hatred just keeps building and building. And I'm rooting so hard for the Raptors. I'm rooting so hard for the Rockets. I'm rooting so hard for anyone to beat these motherfuckers because I just still can't get over that somebody compared a 6'9" point guard to a 6'3" shooting guard. Basically, I know he's listed at point guard, but he's really a shooting guard. That is not as athletic and just a really good shooter. Yet, deep down, I always knew there was so much more to him than that. It gets to the year 2020. He's in the MVP talks. I have to act like I like him. They're not winning games. He's not a threat to LeBron's legacy. It's kind of like that one friend that you're kind of frenemies with, and like they're succeeding, and you kind of hate them a little bit more for it. You know, you guys have to be, you're kind of in the same circle, but you're a little pissed. You're competitive. You want your guy to do better. In that case, you're the guy. In this case, LeBron's my guy. And then it gets to 2021, and they come out, and I was riding the Suns fucking hard. I was literally a stripper at the Gaza Strip. I was on that cock hard. CP3 had me. And they fucking lose to the Mavericks. And I go, uh-oh, here we go again. I keep telling people, here comes the Celtics team. They're dirty. Series starts. Here comes the Celtics team. They're the better overall team. Curry goes for 39 in Game 4. They win Game 5. And here I am on a Thursday night, no work the next day, having a couple beers. For the first 3 quarters of that game last night, I am upset. And then Curry starts hitting shot after shot after shot. And then you watch a play where he cuts to the ball, Clay cuts off of it, gets an open layup. And you watch a play where somebody sets a screen for him, he comes off the pick, and because he's such a lethal shooter, They check down. He goes, kicks it to the corner, and they get an open three. And then I watch them win, and I see him start crying. And all that hatred inside of me, for some reason, kind of went away. In that moment, on that night, I realized Curry is one of the most important players in the history of basketball. And as a huge basketball fan, I have no choice but to embrace him. I also watched another movie this week. It goes by the name of Anchorman. There's a famous scene in Anchorman where Wes Mantooth has my boy on the ladder, and he looks at him and he goes, "I hate you, Ron Burgundy. But God damn it if I don't respect you. Steph Curry, I fucking hate you. But God damn it, I respect you." All right, we are here with Lil Dupe per usual. Lil Dupe, say what up to the peeps.
What's going on, everyone?
And a very special guest to help us navigate this historic finals, my boy Skonch. What up, Skonch?
Not much. What's going on?
Skonch, you're a super NBA fan. Give us your take on the finals right off the bat.
I mean, right off the bat, I think the Celtics are still super young. Tatum 24, Brown 25, Rob Williams 24, Smart 27. And I hear people saying that they should blow it up, all this stuff, and I think that's a horrible idea, absolutely. I just think they kind of need to find their identity, and I think Tatum or Brown kind of needs to decide who's going to be the alpha of that team. I think Tatum's the more talented player, and his potential's like insanely high. 6'10", strong, can literally do everything. He just needs to add a little to his game. But I think it's really the future of the Celtics, kind of up to how Tatum responds to this loss, because he kind of shit his fucking pants in the finals. Had 13 points like in Game 6, was inefficient, literally led the playoffs, all-time playoffs in turnovers. So he can respond in one of two ways. He could let this kind of eat at him, and he can stay in his shell and just never really reach his potential, or he could just let this motivate him to reach different heights, kind of like a way that after LeBron melted down in 2011, the same way. Kind of his biggest failure was also kind of his best success, because it set him on a trajectory to be one of the best ever. So I think it's just super important for Tatum and Brown to kind of figure out who's the alpha and figure out that dynamic, because their potential is kind of off the charts.
The blow it up talks is, to me, absolutely ridiculous. You came within 2 games of winning an NBA championship with a super young roster, an unhealthy Rob Williams, who's actually their third most important player, believe it or not. I mean, you could say Marcus Smart, and I understand he's valuable, but there's not a lot of Rob Williams that exist in the league. I will say this with Tatum. I have been a critic before. I mean, super impressive season overall. Weirdly, I remember talking to you last night about this. When Jaylen Brown shoots the ball, I think it's going in. When Tatum shoots the ball, I don't. And maybe that's just like a preconceived thing, but it's definitely noticeable. And I do think Jaylen Brown does have a little bit more, not dog in him, but right now he doesn't. Tatum sometimes wants to make the fancy play. Something I got to deal with is now like a converted, Tatum disciple, is he'll go for a reverse layup where you kind of look at him like, that was so stupid. Go up and fucking dunk the ball, like Simmons said on his podcast. But the blow it up talks are ridiculous. I think the C's are going to be here to stay. The East is going to get a little better, but so should they. They still, again, they're a potential team, and they made the finals. Now, I hope the whole Orlando thing doesn't happen to them, where all the egos get in the way after you make a finals as a super young team. But I don't really see that happening. They got a bunch of really great leadership. I love Stevens. I love Ime. They're going to figure this out. Little Dupe thoughts.
Yep. Sounds good.
Super deep.
Yeah, very deep.
Skonch, anything else you wanted to kick to the SmoothBody fans?
All right. And another thing also, which was shocking about why Tatum wasn't playing as well in the finals, was this is the same guy that dropped 46 against Milwaukee. Goes into Milwaukee, drops 46. So to see him struggle, I think it was at least like what I thought was going on. I think his confidence was shot. He wasn't being completely aggressive. He was kind of on at least offensively, like you said, not finishing strong at the rim, taking these crazy acrobatic layups when he's 6'10", at least draw a foul, And also the Celtics are definitely going to be here to stay as well. I think getting to the finals is such valuable experience for them. Like a year ago, whenever Milwaukee was in the playoffs, I didn't think that they were capable of making it to the finals and winning at all. Yeah. Of course, some injuries went their way with Kyrie and Harden and, things like that. But since they made that finals and won, like, their confidence and experiences, it's kind of, like shot them out of a cannon and put them on this different level than they previously were. So I think this is just super valuable experience for the Celtics as well. So, the East is getting better, like you said, but exactly, like, so are they.
Yeah, definitely bummed out by the Celtics loss. I do really like that team. But let's transition here to Golden State. Obviously, I just went off on my little Curry rant, but kind of some larger thoughts here about that team in general. Super different dynamic where you have a bunch of older players. You have literally the Curry, Clay, Draymond generation. Then you have all these younger guys where it's like Looney, Porter, Wiggins, Poole. And so it was a lot of veteran leadership and then a lot of guys with ridiculous confidence because of that veteran leadership. And I think when you have kind of that mix, you can raise your ceiling almost. And I have to give a shout out to that supporting cast. And the most important point I want to make about that team is how great of a coach Steve Kerr is. I'm going to do a little Steve Kerr talk here. This transitions him to a different level of coach. There's not many coaches out there that have 4 championships. Off the top of my head, I know Pop has 4. I know Phil Jackson has more than 4. I know Riley has more than 4. And then I cannot think of anyone else other than Red Auerbach in the 60s. 4 championships is a huge fucking deal.
It's a lot more than 0.
It is definitely a lot more than 0.
And in 8 years, too.
In 8 years. And I understand, like, yes, you had Kevin Durant for 2 years. That's not his problem. This team was last in the league 2 years ago. Dead last in the league. I understand Curry was hurt. It's still impressive as shit. You got to give that dude his fucking roses. Now, let's not have our Joe Lacob douchebag talk because I don't like him. I'm not going to lie. Light years ahead. Come on, you guys were about to trade Klay Thompson for
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love. Like, that would not have worked well for them. So, Steve Kerr, you deserve your flowers. Anyone else on that roster you want to shout out or on that team?
I think the Kerr point's very important. Obviously, to be that successful, you need to work different. You need to move different. And I think, I was watching an interview of Anthony Edwards talking about his draft workout with the Warriors. And he's like, doing a drill that they always do with Steph. And he was gassed where, he was shooting a 3 and then running a sprint, shooting another 3, running a sprint. And Kerr kept saying after literally every single rep, like, can you go any faster? Can you go any harder? And then by the time the workout was over, he talked to me. He's like, we're going to draft you at number 2. Like, you need to work way harder. So, obviously everybody, like every coach is going to push their guys beyond to, exceed their potential. But I think that was kind of eye-opening. It's not just because he has all the talent in the world. Like, this team, even though they were favored in the finals, is probably out of the 4 teams, the worst team, I think, that's won a ring for the Warriors, which is so impressive.
Easily the worst team. Like, it's not even close. They've never shout out Kevon Looney because he hung tough. They've never had like a worse center position, which is tough to say because they never have good center positions. Clay's never been worse. Draymond's never been worse. It has some good young guys. This is not the 2015 Warriors. It's not the 2016 Warriors. It sure as hell not this 2017 Warriors, which in my opinion is the greatest team ever. All right, so we've talked enough about Warriors Celtics. I want to transition into Curry talk because as we know, the NBA is about stars, right? And
true.
this win, 4 chips, 1 Finals MVP, 2 Finals MVP, I think 2 scoring championships, transitions him into what I would consider the 15 guys that, yes, there's an order you could put them in, but are as good as any human being's ever been that picked up a basketball. So Skonch, as our honored guest, I'm going to give you a name, and we're going to go through and we're going to say why Steph could be better, why Steph could be worse, and then you're going to give us, you're the final call here. That's how we treat our guests on the Smooth Body Pod. So we're going to have a little quick discussion and then go through it. I have a couple names circled because those are probably more important. So if you're thinking why hasn't this person been called, it's probably because we're saving that for last. I'm going to start right here. Oscar Robertson. Give me the reasons why Curry's better than Oscar.
I mean, that's tough. No disrespect to Oscar, obviously.
The big L.
But I think Curry's sustained greatness over these years. I think he's literally been an MVP candidate every year that he's been healthy, and how the media is now, they kind of get fatigued, and he probably doesn't get the recognition that he probably should. But 4 rings, 2 MVPs, 1 unanimously. I would have to put Steph over him. I think off the top of my head, top 2 point guards are Magic and Steph, and you can kind of get into that debate another time. But I would definitely have him over Big O.
So what I wrote down for Oscar is Curry's a better shooter, he creates more space, and he is a much better team player. The rap on Oscar, as talented as he was he was actually pretty difficult. Back in the Cincinnati Royals days, shout out my grandpa, huge fan, his favorite basketball player ever. Him and player coach Kuzi, yes, he player coach for the Royals, were fucking at odds ends. They fucking hated each other. He was not the easiest guy to get along with. He's rumored to be super hard-headed, and I think that's valuable in Steph's case because Steph is literally one of the greatest teammates ever. Now, I'll go Big O's pro case, and then you go Big O's pro case. The Big O, you could say, was a better passer, better athlete, 6'5" point guard, better rebounder. Other than that, you could be better finisher, but I'm not sure that's true. Curry is such a fucking underrated finisher. And passers, he probably had more assists, but I'm not sure he's a better passer. You know what I mean? That space creation argument doesn't sound like a big, broad thing, but it's a fucking huge thing in basketball. You create space for guys, you're just going to create more scoring. Thoughts on the Big O's pros?
I mean, I think you kind of said it. Just bigger, better passer, better rebounder. I wouldn't say better scorer than Steph, but definitely better passer and the size thing at the same time. But like you said, watching Steph finish at the rim in these finals specifically was he was kind of just blowing by guys with ease and having these tough finishes through contact. So, I think, yeah.
So verdict, you're going with
Steph.
All right, Chef Steph gets a little dub here. We're gonna write Oscar's name down here, and we're gonna move quickly to Wilt. I'll start. Curry's pros over Wilt. Obviously, better shooter, definitely better teammate. Wouldn't say better scorer. I mean, you're not going to do the rebound things. It's hard to compare with centers, so we should probably just do this one quickly. Steph, I mean, obviously, you're probably going to say the same things.
Yeah.
Wilt was definitely the antithesis of Steph in the way that Wilt was the greatest athlete of his generation. You just don't say that about Steph because he's 6'3". He's a great athlete, but in a different way. Anything to add to that one? Do you have an opinion? I know it's hard.
I take Steph over Will. I think
it's all right.
Well, I mean, it's just hard to rank Wilt because of the
different era
he played in. I mean, the numbers are unbelievable for him, and it's you can only really base him on who he was playing. He's only he can only play who's in front of him, so it's hard to hold it against Wilt, but I don't know. It's just tough to say he's better than Curry.
All right, go with your gut. All right.
Yeah.
I like the call. let's
It's
move
just
on.
my era. If
The eras.
somebody was from Wilt's era, they'd take Wilt probably. It's just like seeing him in real time and kind of like experiencing him for like literally since we were in 6th, 7th grade. Like it's hard to say Wilt's better.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Jerry West, the logo, someone I hold very dear in my heart. West was a better passer. West was a good shooter. He's not one of the greatest shooters ever. This is actually tougher than people think. I have a lot of reverence towards my boy Jerry West. I just think he took so many shitty teams to those finals against those monster Celtics teams. And until Wilt got there, they never had a fighting chance, even though he did have Elgin. So I think it's closer than people think. What are your thoughts?
Like it's tough. Like
Era thing again,
it's
for sure.
another era thing, and I mean just like the finals thing. Yeah, you could say like he only has one ring and like all this, but when you really look at who he was taking to the finals, like you can't hold that against him either.
Dick Barnett, look him up.
Yeah.
He kicked his legs into himself
His 2K shot
like
is
yeah.
disgusting.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
So gut check though, because we'll go through quick, and then there's ones down the circle, and I'm gonna be like, we can further look into that where I might zag on you.
I'm gonna go Curry over him again.
Curry's 3-0, and these are all top 15 dudes. All right, the single most underrated NBA player of all time. Who do you think it is?
I think it's Akeem.
No, Moses Malone, baby. Does not get enough credit. He's like a 3-time MVP. It's because he was in the ABA for a long time. But he was the best player on those Dr. J championship teams. People forget that. Like
got a Finals MVP with Philly, right?
He was the best player on those championship Sixers teams. So Moses, I mean, give me your thoughts.
I think that's a toss-up. Like, I think Moses probably. I mean, if the argument's about the top 10, I'd say Moses is literally hovering it right around 11, 12, something like that. Like,
yeah, he was 11 on my list that I quickly made.
Yeah, but
we can put that in the wild card for later. I like that.
Card, that's tough.
All right, Hakeem. I know my opinions on this, but
I mean, I love Akeem. Obviously, the back-to-back Finals MVPs are huge, but 94, like you can't hold it against that he didn't play Jordan because he wasn't even in the league. He can only play who's in front of him at the same time. But I mean, it doesn't undermine that ring, but because he beat him again in 95 too. But I don't know. I might take Akeem, honestly.
Ooh, all right, because
he kind of changed, like, dude, like. LeBron went to him for post moves.
Yeah.
For footwork. He needed the post game.
Dwight Howard
floater.
needed to go to him for post
moves.
moves.
Like he kind of he didn't like change the game the way Steph changed it with threes and all that, but like he did really change like the way people score. Like people post up and use like dream shake, like the crazy footwork, like all the time. So
yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. Hakeem.
But barely. Barely.
Should we throw in wild card? What do you think?
Yeah, we go
wild card. Or toss up or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, my Hakeem thoughts are just there's never going to be another 7-foot guy as nimble and almost ballerina-esque as that dude. The footwork, the timing, the finishing, the defense. There was art in his defense, the way his defensive slides coming over. Shaq would tell you he's better than Shaq, and not a lot of people would say that. Shaq would tell you that Hakeem was a better player. Hakeem's so unbelievable, and I think he does get lost in that kind of that '90s thing because the GOAT. But yeah, Hakeem's definitely a toss-up for me, and it's definitely closer than like my little cousin would think. He'd be like, "Fuck no, get Hakeem out of here. Steph's goated." All right, Shackle.
One last thing with the Akeem thing.
Please.
Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the same season. Like, that's only
Jordan's done
Giannis
that.
and Jordan are the other two guys to do it. That's like
That's a solid.
That's
point.
not a walk in the park. So
Fuck. Shackle. This was an interesting talk with my dad last night.
yeah, I think off the top of my head, I'm going to say Shaq, but the 5, like for 4 titles, 3 Finals MVPs, while Kobe's his teammate, like averaging 38 and 17, and just like he's just unbelievable his performance in the finals, even though he's playing the Nets and he had the
Yeah.
thin white guys guarding him. They're not going to do shit against Shaq, but
Keith Van Horn.
yeah, I mean he should have more MVPs than he does. He only has 1, but I'm going to go with Shaq there. I think.
I'm actually gonna zag on this one.
Respectfully,
I would take Curry. Something I never thought I would say. Shaq in his prime is better than Curry would probably ever be in his prime. I mean, he's literally the most dominant player ever. But again, we talk about sustained success. And guys, I think you could just be more successful with. I'm going to take Curry. Like, I just am. If it was a draft pick, I'd probably take Curry at the beginning of their careers, knowing what we know now, which sounds so dumb. And I'm probably going to want to smack myself later, and I could be talked out of it. But being dominant in the paint is great, but threes are worth more than 2. And Steph Curry in the playoffs has shot nearly 40% from 3 every single fucking year he's been in the offs. Like, that astronomically overpowers high field goal percentages. Plus the spacing it creates for all his other teammates. So fuck me. I'm gonna put that with the wild cards. That I'm gonna big circle that one. Because I think that's another one we got a super debate. All right, Larry Bird, cock. The big Bird.
I'm going to go Bird over Curry. 3 MVPs straight. 5. How many rings? Is it fucking
3 or 4? I think
3 or 4. 3 Finals MVPs.
Oh no, actually only 2.
Word.
Cedric Maxwell.
Yeah, that's right. Like, there's just something about him, and he was just the biggest player of his era. Not to say Steph's not, but it was Magic Bird.
Yeah.
I think with like this era, you can like go with KD and LeBron. Like, yeah, you can go Steph, LeBron too, but
there's dudes that are either that ether or higher.
Yeah.
All right, so I would also give it to Bird. You can't not, because the only thing Steph's truly better than Bird at is shooting. Bird was a fucking unbelievable shooter too. Steph's not a better passer. He's not a better rebounder. He's not a better teammate. Like, you could say he's a better teammate, but it's not like I'm going to give it to him. So Bird's the first one where I'm confidently like, we're giving Bird the dub. Timmy Spunk, man.
Big fundamental.
Big fundamental.
Definitely Timmy D. I think, and also criminally underrated.
Yeah.
Like 5 rings. Was it 2 or 3 Finals MVPs? 3. I mean,
2 MVPs. People forget
2 MVPs,
that.
and he did it from 99 to 2014, which is like, I mean, that's absurd.
And he's one of those guys who just never had a bad game. With Steph, you are going to get some inconsistencies. Like, it's not a rap on him, but it's like, we've even watched in these finals. He'll have a game where he has like 20, and he didn't shoot super well. Because, I mean, that's just his game.
Everybody's got a bad game.
Duncan actually didn't have bad games. That was the difference.
Yeah.
That dude is getting you a 22 and 12 every single playoff game, shooting 60% from field, hitting he's like an 80% fucking free throw shooter. Timmy Duncan's different level.
Probably gets overlooked because he's part of like a team dynasty as well, I think, and had such a great coach like Pop. Not to say Kerr's not, and that Steph didn't have great teammates either, but I think it's just to a different degree.
They actually have more similar careers than you think. Now, Steph's obviously a little more out there in the way that like the public sees him. But again, team culture guys, super great teammates, huge leaders. But I still got to give it Duncan. I'm not saying Curry could never catch that.
Yeah.
But
I also think style of play for Duncan's not necessarily the most exciting player to watch, and Steph, like, he can bomb 40-footers. Like, but maybe maybe that's why Duncan's overlooked a little bit. But he's winning count. Like, yeah, he gets it done.
He gets it done. Billy Muscle.
Billy Hustle. I'm taking Bill Hustle over.
I'm going to
Steph.
take it because we got to take one guy from that era. We got to take the best player from that era.
Yeah.
Because he was the best player in the NBA till Larry and Magic showed up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there were like 4 fucking teams, and they were 5'8", but
Russell
you can't hold it against them.
has 11 rings. Was probably the most competitive guy in NBA history. I would actually push back on the MJ thing. Russell threw up before every single game he played in the NBA. He was so fucking nervous. It was like literally like the stories about him, the art of war techniques, things like that. I just don't know if you'd ever get a player like that who's like, I literally am not going to score this game. I'm just going to let Havlicek and Sam Jones score. I'm going to go. And it's, it's the biggest star in the league. Player coach at some points, won a chip as a player coach. I can't give it to Steph there. Kareemer, I mean, we're down to these guys quickly. Kareem, no.
Kareem,
right?
all day.
We're taking Kareem. And I'm going to skip one of these guys because we're going to have a bigger discussion here. And Jordan, obviously.
Jordan, not
You're
even
taking
close.
Curry. No, I'm kidding. You're taking Jordan.
Not even close, yeah.
All right. I have 3 dudes circled that I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit more when I was looking at this list earlier.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to come back to Shaq because I think that's a good debate. Let's do the weakest of these. Kobe or Steph?
I mean, I think right now, I would say Kobe slightly, but like Steph isn't done yet. So, with one more ring, if he ties him with 5 rings and he gets the Finals MVP again, I'd take Steph in a heartbeat. I think, but just right now, I mean,
You have to
take
Kobe.
Yeah.
At least I think you do. I think because of the 2 championships in 09 and 10, him being the best player on those teams, with the Laker organization that was struggling for like 5 years there, he's Kobe Bryant. It's a conversation. We probably need a couple more years to digest and see this later version of Curry, because Curry is 34. But, yeah, I'd give that one to Steph. I mean, I'd give that one to Kobe, too. So
I think they're also pretty comparable to, like, not like they're the second option, but they're playing with fucking KD and Shaq
in their primes.
In their primes, and now they're kind of the ones leading the
charge.
the show now.
Yeah.
So pretty similar, I think.
No, that's actually a really good point. All right. Let's have the LeBron discussion, but we're not going to have the full LeBron discussion because me and you obviously agree LeBron's the second greatest player to ever touch basketball. I want to have just the 2010s discussion. You take out LeBron's first 7 years in the league. Curry gets drafted, I think, 09.
Yeah.
I think that's correct. Could be wrong. He was 08 or 9. Let's just go 2010 to right now, last 12 years. Who are you taking?
Still LeBron.
I am too. Well,
Just 2010s. Yeah, that might be a real debate because you're taking away 2 of LeBron's MVPs, so they have the same amount of MVPs, same amount of rings, but LeBron's got
more Finals MVPs,
3 more Finals MVPs,
a better basketball player.
Yeah, and
that
better.
becomes important. I know we're comparing things here.
The legacy
LeBron's
shit,
a better basketball
better.
player than Steph Curry. There's no doubt in my mind, but Curry is of that ether in that 10-year run where if you're like, Curry's pretty close to LeBron in the past 10 years, I'm not going to laugh you out of the room. I'm going to disagree vehemently, but I'm not going to laugh you out of the room. All right, the big one, and this is the one where I got opinions. KD.
Dude, this one's tough.
This one's fucking tough.
Because literally last year, whenever they were playing the Bucks, and he dropped 47 or 49, 17 and 10, everyone's like, that's like an all-time performance in the playoffs ever. And I remember at the time of the NBA 75 coming out, like people were like, yeah, like KD's probably top 10, like, and now obviously with how he performed like against the Celtics, like there's some recency bias there, but It's like I think KD's a better basketball player.
Yep.
But Curry, there's just like
there's a legacy factor.
Yeah.
It's the weird thing because I do think like if you just go talent alone, you can't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
There's so many talented dudes that just never. Carmelo Anthony, you could be like Carmelo is a top 20 talent ever. He was just never going to reach those heights because of who he was. And I'm not saying KD's bad in any of those aspects. I think he's definitely a winner. I think he's mentally stronger than people think. But I can't because I literally watch KD and I'm like, you can't have another one of these. You can make another Steph, believe me or not. You cannot create another KD. Brandon Ingram is known as KD Light, and it's like two different planets. Like, Ingram would be from Jupiter, and fucking Durant would be 18 galaxies away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with KD.
Yeah.
I said it.
I think slightly KD. But like that's
But,
also
like,
it's like our generation thing too. If he's not top 10, then he's like 12, 11.
Yes. But also, the crazy thing about the also generation speak is like my little cousin loves the Warriors, and he would tell you Steph Curry is a better player than KD. But we're like a little bit older, so we saw that early OKC KD. We saw him go to the Warriors. We were pissed, but we're just like, this dude literally fit perfectly in a system that wasn't even built for him. Yeah, as two basketball purists, I think we're sticking with KD. So KD gets the dub. All right, we've been through all the names.
Do you want the final tally?
I do want the final tally, and then I think we're going to read the names too. So give me the tally.
So this is Skonch's tally. We got 3 wins for Steph, and then 9 losses for Steph with, I think, 2 or 3 toss-ups, right?
We have 3 toss-ups.
3 toss-ups.
So who we have him decisively over Oscar, Wilt, and West. So let's cross them out. We have him under KD, LeBron. Oh, the KD one's fucking tough. Bird, Duncan, Russell, Kobe, Kareem, Jordan. Forgot that. Magic, too. We didn't really have a Magic discussion.
And Magic's still number 1 point guard.
Number 1 point guard ever.
I agree.
I missed that name, but you can't. It's not the same. Magic's a 6'9" pure point guard. They've never made another one of those. Did we have the Giannis? No, I took Giannis out because Giannis is too young. We were just going to go Curry anyway.
Yeah.
All right. And then the 3 ones we have on the fence are Moses, Akeem, and Shaq. Let's start with Moses. After all that talk, I'm going to say Curry's better than Moses.
I am too.
Okay. I just think, gut feeling, I didn't get to see Moses play.
Yeah.
Curry's better basketball player than Moses Malone. As great as Moses was. Let's cross that out. Akeem.
I think I'm still sticking Akeem. I think Akeem's in the 8 to 9. I don't know. I just love him personally. I think he's 8-9 range. I still go Akeem for me.
I think Akeem because I hate this argument usually, but if you put Curry on those Rockets teams, they're not winning 2 titles.
No.
They're like a 7th seed. Like Hakeem, those 2 years was that special.
And the Rockets won in 95 as a 6 seed too.
Yep.
So they
Hakeem,
wouldn't even have made the playoffs with Curry. So
Hakeem's that special.
yeah.
Can I interject?
Go for it.
I don't know if this is gonna be a dumb question.
Shoot.
You said if you put Curry on Hakeem's team, they wouldn't go anywhere.
If you took Hakeem off,
Take
If you
Hakeem
did
off.
the other way around, like,
If you
is
put-
it a different story?
if you put Hakeem on the Warriors with Clay and Dre and
Prime?
yeah,
Prime Clay and Dre? I don't know if they win a chip,
I mean they're still
but they're definitely contenders.
yeah.
I think Clay steps up. I think early Clay is ridiculous as a two-way player. Prime Dre, imagine that fucking front court of him and Draymond. That's fucking disgusting.
They can both
Defensively,
pass too.
yeah.
Defensively, they would be. Dude, they'd
And
be
then with those
ridiculous.
KD teams, they're similar-esque as the Curry teams, because then you just have that scorer there. I mean, Curry is, again, super value. I'm still taking Hakeem. It's hard to compare centers and guards, but I think we're on the same page
I'm
with
still
that.
Hakeem for sure.
Shaq.
This is tough.
This is tough.
I think this is the hardest one for sure.
They are literally like the polar opposite Suns. Let's take the worst shooter and the greatest inside player ever. Take the best shooter, someone who can never do what Shaq did, and let's compare them.
No, I think Steph could probably break a couple backboards.
Yeah,
He's probably good for it.
No shot. Bro, it's like, how do you not go with the 7'1" guy who basically ran the floor like a fucking gazelle? There's just athlete shit there you can't go against, and yet I was leaning Curry. Like, it's so tough. Dude, what are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts?
Yeah, and this is based on your ball knowledge. Hit me with it.
I don't know. I mean, I think just on my basic knowledge, I would go with Shaq over Curry. I just feel like he's more like of a dominant player. He's a fucking elk in a gazelle's body, or a gazelle in an elk's body is what I meant to say.
You know what? That actually is a really good point. Sorry, it made me think of another point.
Yeah.
Let's just compare the finals. Shaq is one of the greatest finals players
Ever.
in the history of the game.
Ever.
Curry is not. This is his first finals MVP. It's Shackle. That was the swag.
Same amount of rings.
Yeah.
2 more finals MVPs. Like, Shaq should have more regular season MVPs. I think it's got to be Shaq.
Okay. I think I got the final list. Did I move Hakeem over? I did not.
That brings the final tally to Steph with being better than 4 players who are.
Oscar, West,
Wilt,
and Moses.
Weston, yeah.
And then he is not better than.
Jordan, LeBron, Duncan, Kareem, Bird, Russell, Hakeem, Shaq. That's what I got.
Magic.
And Magic, yeah.
Which is what, 11?
Kobe.
Magic and Kobe, yep.
Got LeBron. Yeah. 11.
Yeah, I got 11.
So really, we kind of have him 12th all time.
Like we said, toss-ups with Shaq, Kobe,
Yeah.
Hakeem. I mean, you can really.
I mean, you can move him around.
Yeah.
KD's like almost a preference at this point. Like,
Yeah.
you can kind of choose your guy.
Yeah.
So are you going to say like 10, 11, 12? That area?
Yeah. So
'Cause you had those 3 toss-ups, and then, I mean, you gave them 1.
It surprisingly didn't change. I know it's fresh, too.
Yeah.
Surprisingly didn't change where I thought he was as much as I thought it would. I mean, it's still fucking impressive that he's bordering top 10. That's
And he's still not even
He's-
done, dude.
yeah.
His style of play, he could keep playing until 40.
literally. It's easy on his knees. They fixed his fucking ankles. Like, fuck. I'm actually very comfortable with that list.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. We don't have a lot of time here. So, for the fans, because they love it, we're going to give you a little flash round of questions here just to get you loose and having fun. Are you ready? Are you prepared?
I hope so.
Did your publicist take a look at it?
Yeah, for
She
sure.
gave it the okay.
She gave it the go.
Lovely lady. How are kids Tommy and Dickie?
Fantastic.
It's good to hear. Who's more annoying, Pitt or Penn State fans? As a neutral sider speaking to one Penn State and one Pitt guy. Hot seat.
Shit. Obviously, both have their flaws, but I think back in the day in high school, I would definitely go with Pitt fans just because they were crowning Kenny Pickett like the next Dan Marino, which like he fucking sucked at the time until his 5th year. I ride with Kenny because we drafted him, but I'd have to say Pitt fans as well. And just like hyping up all these recruits they get for basketball as well, and then
Our basketball
Jeff
team
Capel
sucks.
losing then Capel losing the fucking locker room. So
Interesting.
I don't know. Penn State fans are also fucking delusional as well. I mean,
I don't know. We might be worse.
I mean-
There's Joe Paterno like statues on our campus.
yeah, I mean Jerry Sandusky's like Penn State coach, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. But if I had to decide, I'd say Penn State fans are more delusional, but Pitt fans are probably more annoying to me personally.
Very PC response.
Yeah, no. That's a little in the middle. Who do you hate more?
You can be
Pitt.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pitt fans.
But
Understand.
I also have a love for Pitt too. Like, but I hate their fans more.
Yeah. Who's hotter, Mitchie McConnell or Nancy Pelosi?
Who's the first name?
Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader.
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt word. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Peloscock on that one.
Dude, but Pelosi's on crack, man. Everyone knows it.
Oh yeah, I mean she's definitely getting Botox. So
Are you a smart fella
I'd like to think so.
or a fart smeller? You'd like to think so.
Both. Fart smeller.
If you were going bald, would you rock the toupee?
Probably not.
You
I
got
think
a unique hair color. Has anyone ever told you that?
I have not heard that before. Everybody just tells me that I'm blonde, and I don't believe that. I look in the mirror and
don't
I
think
see
you're blonde.
brown. I see brown hair in the mirror, but everyone's like, "Oh, you're a blonde." Like,
See, he has
Fucking-
unique hair.
fucking not.
I guess it's unique.
We've never had a Skonch discussion. Oh, he has unique hair. Where would you even buy a toupee? Toys R Us?
Toys R Us.
Toys R Us.
I would rock the bald cut like Heisenberg or something.
I
like
think you can pull it off.
I already had the buzz
You
cut
definitely
for a
could.
couple of
Yeah,
weeks
yeah.
in
You
high
You got
school.
you got a
and
nice head shape.
The
do have a nice
functionality,
outfit.
functionality was unbelievable.
Never have to buy shampoo. again.
Exactly.
Extremely aerodynamic.
No bedhead, no you're aerodynamic. Exactly.
Plus, people say feeling the wind in your hair is pretty good.
How about your
feeling
scalp?
The wind in your
Yeah.
scalp.
How about that?
That's got to be lovely.
Yep.
All right, give me 3 hockey-related pickup lines and go.
Okay, well, obviously we all know the one night where we were firing them
Yeah.
off like crazy.
Yeah.
Let me think. Obviously, off rip is how about 2 minutes for high sticking?
All right, next. Keep it going. Keep it going.
All right. Yeah. How about? Oh fuck! I'm firing these off. These are bad. I'm blanking.
I'll help you out. Hey, don't come in my crease or I'll come in yours. Next.
Fuck.
It's actually foul.
Yeah, that is actually.
I mean, are we getting like graphic?
No, it's fine. They're hockey-related.
Okay, word. Well, you know, Patrick Kane likes to dangle. I'd like to dangle my sack on your chin. Face. Spot check.
That's pretty great.
These were pretty
Fork or
good.
spoon in your mac and cheese?
Fork all day.
All day. Nope.
Probably the strongest answer we've gotten
Yeah.
off the bat.
Non-political.
Right.
Like, you're choosing
No, I'm
side.
Yeah,
fork.
no, yeah.
I'm fork. I'll be violent.
Like, you
with
voted
it.
Ted Kennedy. Like, you chose a side.
Like, yeah, I picked a side for sure. If I get it in a restaurant, fork. At home, fork. I might use the fork like a spoon, but I'm still using a fork.
Respectable.
I never have that much like excess cheese either that I need to scoop it with a spoon. So
You're fork too.
I'm a
all the way.
fork. I don't necessarily stab it with the fork.
But
all the
you'll
time?
fork
Yeah,
spoon.
yeah.
What about a spoon? A spork, not a
Spork?
spoon.
Let's try spork next
That
time.
it could play. A
Oh, why did no one call it a spoon, though?
No, it's also different
Why?
because it's not a fork.
A spoon? A fork spoon? That wouldn't work. Who was the guy who was like, nah, I like spork better than food?
I don't know.
Probably a lot of people said spork over foon.
You would say spork?
Well, like foon sounds funnier, obviously.
Foon is a little
Toss me that food.
crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. Food.
I mean, yeah.
But like spork is obviously spoon. Fork. Foon could be anything else.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know.
Fork spoon. Fapoon? That doesn't work. I would have
Yeah.
went with foon.
Foon could play.
All right, Skonch, any questions for Lil Dupe or SmoothBody himself?
Or anything you want to plug.
Yeah, give me some hockey pickup lines.
Um,
Go back and forth.
Are you from Quebec? Because I'd like to say sorry for having sex with you.
I think you meant to say sorry.
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 All right. Let's think here.
Have you ever heard of the red line? Gross.
I feel like we can't get as graphic.
Yeah,
as we
no,
were.
we're not.
Yeah.
We're not.
I got a hockey joke. Why didn't Jesus like playing hockey?
Because he didn't want to get nailed to the boards.
Yeah, love that.
How come Mother Teresa didn't like playing hockey?
Why?
She was too busy taking care of sick kids.
Ferda.
Anything else? Anything else, Skonch? Anything you want to plug? You want to talk about your gin company? You guys are
My gin company,
recently
coming out
just distributing in Australia, correct?
summer 2023. It's coming.
Called Gin and Juice, laid back. You got
On
a
my mind,
big
on my
ass-
money, and my money on my mind.
That's actually on the entire label.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's suing you. I don't know why.
Yeah,
That was
Weird.
definitely off the dome top.
he won't make it to trial. That'll get dismissed. So.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to get caught with a. Might just get hit with the repo.
Rico.
Rico. Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be a RICO case.
Well, R.I.P. Young Thug.
Yeah, actually, what's going on
I
with
don't know.
YSL? I think they're toast.
It's not looking good.
I don't think the judge is not lenient.
Also, like, if we're being honest with ourselves, there's a chance. I don't think they were like super involved, but there's definitely a chance they knew about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if rap lyrics should be used in a trial. I think that's
Yeah.
more important.
Kind of whack.
Everybody
it's kinda-
lies in their music
They
too.
have to.
So
It's part of the game. Except for Tupac. I really do think he fucked Biggie's wife.
yeah,
On that note,
He did claim to be a player.
but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad boys. Baby fuck for life. In the words of the great Margaret Thatcher, peace out, bitches. SmoothBody, we'll see you next week.